So now in the photo studio, we've actually extended the showroom with the photo studio to show you some of the family tents or bus tents that we also produce and do a great deal with on Outwell. And Jacob, this is for us, this is quite not new, but cars in Denmark as such, they're quite expensive.
Yeah,
but this is something which is really popular in Europe as such. And just to showcase some of the features that we have on these types of tents.
Yep.
We have a wide selection, and we will go through 4 different types of bus tents along this way. So if we can just have the camera, and we will show just the first little common feature to these type of products. So you have this kind of van, and on the van you would normally have sort of a rail which you can actually attach the bus tent to. In this case here, you will notice that we do have a type of beading which is a double beading. So you both have a 5mm beading and a 7mm beading. And in this case here, on this car, on this van, we actually use both of the beadings in the same rail. Moving on to the other side of the car, even though this is not usual that we have 2 tents mounted on one van, we do have here, because this is something special we use both for the developing department but also as here to showcase the products. So here we do have a rail where we use only the 7mm beading into the rail of the van. On the website you will actually be able to see which type of cars we would recommend for the use of both the 7mm and also the double beading. The 5mm is used if you have a roll-out marquee, so like a Tulia or a Fiamma, you would use the 5mm in that type of rail. So the double rail with both the 7 and the 5mm beading is sewn onto the product as such. And that actually allows us to have a multiple use for these type of products, for different types of vans and for the different types of rails that actually are among the whole wide world of these type of buses. Yeah. So that was just a general of, that was the way we would normally attach the product to a van. Later on we will just show you what you can actually buy as extra if you do not have a rail on your van, so that you can actually still be able to attach it and have a really beautiful nomade camping holiday. Moving into the first tent, you will notice that this tent is attached to the side of the van and actually having the front out to the side. So the Newberg 160, allowing with the 160 meters between the poles, actually that this doesn't take up too much space on the camping facility. Also here, again, with a tiny canopy, allowing you to have some shade in front of this little tent. If we just move into the tent, and Jacob, you can also come along and see
no problem.
and enjoy this feature of this type of tent.
Yeah.
The front here, you will notice it has a huge front, opening now here only to the half, and actually allowing you to have an entrance into the tent from outside. This front can actually be rolled completely to the side and allowing this panoramic front. Also, on this one here, you do have an extra feature with completely full mosquito mesh on the front. So you can actually be out in this type of tent and still be not bothered by all those bugs and what actually might be out on also having a summer holiday. Again, moving inside to the tent. This tent has what we call the toggled up curtains. So here you do have the possibility to toggle up the curtains to a specific side where the toggles are actually mounted. On the other side, Jakob, you can just show that the curtains are rolled down. Yep.
Like here, and closed nicely in the bottom of the curtain.
So you have a neat and tidy atmosphere in the tent as well.
Yeah.
Also, these type of tents have a sewn-in ground sheet, so it actually has the possibility to hold out all the humidity from the outside into this tent. However, though, this is actually where, if we move a bit outside, I will just show you that it also has this availability for the access into the tent. So with this little toggle in the front, you will actually be able to fold down the front so that you don't have a 10 centimeters sidewalk you need to actually step over into the tent, but you will have this easy access, which you also can see is on the rear of the tent. Easily, again, if you want to be safe in a rainy day, you just toggle this one up again and make sure that you have a firm edge to your ground sheet. Also, this ground sheet, of course, zips together with the front and has a cover up from the zipper so that you actually prevent any rain from coming into to the living area.
Yep.
One of the features on a bus tent or drive-away, or it has a lot of names out in the world, but drive-aways, bus tents, they are of course tents that attaches to the vans, and we just shown you the beading that goes into the rail, but actually all of these types of products, they have a sort of a little extra bits of material attached to the rear end of the tent, so that you have the possibility to attach onto the side of the van. And in each side you will notice it has a door opening, so you will actually have the possibility to go straight from outside and into the van, and actually opening the van and getting quickly fetching something inside the van, or going inside playing cards, or the kids can actually just toggle up and read a book or whatever inside the car, still being able to actually be part of the family outside in the tent. So a very clever way to actually attach and have this attaching point onto the van and into the inner compartments of the drive-aways. Notice that the ground sheet on the attachment is actually a detachable ground sheet. So this is something which is loose, and the reason for that is also because if you want to make this, if you want to drive away, of course this is the one you actually take out and place perhaps inside the tent, so that you are sure to actually have possible way to drive away from the tent. On the rear you also have a huge door which you can actually close, and of course this is needed when you drive away from the tent. So the tent will actually still be pitched on the campsite, but you go away for a nice trip into to see some fantastic exciting things on your camping holiday, but you leave the tent pitch on the campsite. What I would recommend is to be able to put all your gear that you don't need on that trip, put that into your tent, because it will be firm and stable on your camping site, so no need to actually store in all furniture and things like that, just to keep it inside the tent whilst you drive away from the tent. Yeah?
Yep.
So Jacob, there's another tent we will have a look into.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's have a look.
Yeah. So where would you take us to?
Yeah, on the other side we have another bus tent. It's the Wolfberg 380 Air, and as in the name, this is an air beam in the tent, mounted opposite.
So it has a parallel mounting onto to the van.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. So in this case, it actually allows you to have a longer tent compared to where the little Newberg 160, and then you have the attachment point, which is 90 centimeters. It just adds up. So
exactly.
You have the van, and then you add on to the length of the tent. Whereas here you actually have the width of the tent, which is just with the attachment next to the van. So it doesn't take up as much space on the campsite.
Exactly. And if we go inside the tent here, you can see it is actually built up just like the family tent we just went through early on. We have this lovely living area with the tinted windows, the air flow from the bottom, the lighting in the top, and with the hook track system. So you got all the lovely features from the classic Outwell tent that we will provide. You also have this dark-net sleeping area.
Which is something you can buy additional to this type of tent.
Exactly, yeah.
And in this case, a two-person sleeping in a tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this also keeps the tent perhaps nice, neat and tidy on the campsite, so that you have the sleeping compartment, perhaps if you have some friends visiting, or if you know that the kids, teenagers, they would prefer to sleep in the sleeping area inside the tent instead of perhaps sleeping inside the van. But they would still love to go on the excursion with you and seeing lots of new campsites and enjoying the summer holiday.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all those perfect possibilities, it's just to hit on to the family holiday. Again, front is to be rolled to the side. Here again, you do have the possibility with mosquito nets. So you have the mosquito net, and in this case it is toggled up so that you will actually be able to keep a neat and tidy and huge panoramic front to this type of drive-away tent.
Yeah.
And Jacob, this is attached to the side.
To the side of the car.
And this tent actually is more or less, as you just said, it's a family tent.
Yeah.
However, though, it has some toggle-up points so that it's not just a family tent you can use as a drive-away, because the attachment points has some toggles up that fit onto this type of tent. And we'll just show you how it actually is possible to switch that. But going onto the side, we'll just show you where it's actually attached on the right-hand side of the tent.
Yeah. We have on the side of the tent, we have this fitting points over here. You just have to attach to your car and the attachment there, and then you can easily adjust and fit as you want to get easy access and the coziness of this drive-away tent.
And actually, it's just a roof material which is then covered over the top of the
car,
of the tent, and then attached onto the side of the van.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, yes, if you are on a campsite where the van, it would be more suitable for the van to be here, or the front to be on the other side, you need to have some, take some extra things out from the boot of your van.
Yeah.
You can also just switch it around and take that fitching point, attachment point, switch it around and use on the other side of the tent.
Yeah.
So this is actually a quite flexible drive-away tent that can be used. As mentioned with the sleeping compartment, Jakob, it also has the features on the rear of the family tent.
Yeah.
And perhaps you can just show our viewers how it looks on a drive-away tent.
Just like on our bigger family tent, we have the air vent system inside. We can just toggle this one up. And now you can see you'll get the airflow we talked about early on into the tent. And also, as we talked about earlier, we have this guy line that is toggling, pitching the tent two ways to give them an easy pitching. And also on the side here. And if you can get the idea of it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And mentioning that we have these attachment points on each side. So if you actually see the buckles to attach the roof panel, but also you have the side hooks or the side eyelets so that you can attach the attachment points. So if we just go through the tent and with the camera and just show how it's actually attached onto the other side of, so the eyelets with the little buckle actually just mounting it onto the side of the tent, which makes it really flexible. So a really neat and tidy little drive-away tent, and with the flexibility mounting it to the side of the van, it actually allows us to have this huge, large family tent with the possibility for the sleeping compartments still being able as a drive-away tent. So if you want to go away from this tent onto a day journey, of course this is just toggling off the buckles and the eyelets and leaving that into the inside of the family tent, and it allows you nice and easy to actually take a day's trip out and away from the family tent. So on to the next tent, Jakob.
Yeah. The next tent we have on the program is the Parkville, 260 SA. This is an air beam in 3 sections of the tent, just like the bigger family we have talked about. We have this lovely canopy out and give a lovely shade through the day if the sun is shiny, as we hope it will be.
We all hope to have nice and sunny holidays, you know. But actually, with the kind of people who uses these type of products, they are not as much as with family camping. These type of people, you actually use these types of products and your vans throughout the whole year, more or less. So, which is why that the Parkville, which we have here, is both an air tube tent, but it's also a very durable polyester in this tent, because it is often seen that those with a van and the van life is actually something where you go out, even if it's just early spring, Easter break, and also in the autumn. So this is where we do see people going away perhaps on a longer holiday, and they drive and stay perhaps a few more days on the camping site.
Exactly.
Except where those with a smaller tent and the van, they would perhaps move more from space to space.
Yeah.
So a durable product here, which is also why the features in this tent is a bit more upgraded in this one here. So of course the air tubes, but here we also have
the support beam from the power air system to provide this extra stability for a windy day on our adventure.
And with the 6,000 millimeters hydrostatic head on the polyester, also a reason to use the power
exactly
air on this type of product.
It only makes sense, yeah.
Exactly.
Going inside to the tent, as we have shown you, we have this hook track system that is easy to move around to give your personal touch to your tent and your stay. This we have in all 3 tubes through the tent. We have the big lovely windows, and a nice feature on this one is on the curtains we have the zip, so you can just make it as easy and comfortable as you want to. So if it is late at night and you just want to be yourself, you can just close down the whole tent and you'll have your own privacy. And when it's morning and you're sitting in the chair and taking a cup of tea and looking outside on this panorama view, you really can get the feeling of how lovely and flexible a tent like this is.
Yeah, and if you notice the big wall behind Jakob, it's not because we don't want to show you how it's actually mounted on a vehicle, but in the lack of actually vehicles, but also to show you how the rear door is actually how it looks. So this tent is actually freestanding, and this is the door that you close before you take out or before you drive away from your pitching area. And Jakob, we have this big wall behind us, and it's just even though it's in a foreign language for most people, but it actually shows a lot of those products we have for the driveaways, and a lot of a lot of known products, a lot of new products, but also to give the idea that if you go on our website, you will actually see a lot of these products, and you will see a lot of photos where it's actually shown on different types of vehicles, and also a lot of opening and closures features. So please use the website to actually go and find the suitable driveway tent for your van and for your van life.
Yeah.
And one of the news for 2021 is the new collection of the active range.
Yeah.
And especially for me, I think this is quite interesting, because this is where we would go down to some smaller vans, so SUVs and some bigger cars. And I do think the Woodcrest is a really nice example for the active range.
Yeah.
And this is where we actually mount this on the boot of the car, so it's a rear tent attachment.
Perhaps
and also,
you can have the camera.
Yeah, but also this is a tent which is made of lighter material. So both the fabric, but also the poles. So these poles are actually aluminium. So both making these really firm, but also very lightweight frames for this active range. And when we do say active range, it's not because it only meant for the active campers, but this could be for those going out for a day trip or for a weekend trip to sports facilities, having a mountain bike mounted on the roof of the car, the windsurfer that has all the equipment in the boot of the car and wants a facility to change in the day. Yeah. So this type of driveway tent is something which we actually do see is going to be even more popular throughout the coming years. So having a look into the tent, you do see that here we do have the possibility for the boot to be opened, so it has a lot of roomy space inside. It also has some side doors, not really doors, but it has the possibility to actually roll these panels to the side, and making sure you can easily go from, just mount this, you can easily go from here and into the car. So if you need to go to the side of the car, fetching something on the side of the door, going back into the tent again. And also just to notice that we didn't actually mention anything of the windows here, but it does have windows. So next to Jakob you will see that you can actually see outside. However though, instead of having a window foil, what we actually have here is a mosquito. So mosquito nets with the possibility for a water safe window cover. Yeah. So on a rainy day, you just shut the window cover and still be able to actually have a dry tent in here. On the other hand, you can also roll down the window covers so that you will have the possibility for a nice airflow inside the tent. Also, it has the hook track system, so that you do have the possibility to hang a towel, dry a towel, or perhaps a t-shirt, whatever, so that you can actually make sure that you have a neat and tidy indoor climate into this tent. A little feature on the floor. We did mention the sewn-in ground sheet. On this active range in the Woodcrest, we actually have a detachable ground sheet. So if we make a huge jump, Jakob, this is actually a ground sheet. You will see it actually can fit way underneath the car. In this case, we've just folded it up. However though, Jakob, if you can just show on that side that it's actually attached with Velcro.
Yeah, we have Velcro, like here, and then you can just put it up easily to the side, and then you have this, like the sewn-in models with a higher ground.
So you do have a rain-safe compartment inside, so if it's wet outside you do have the possibility. Otherwise it's just a really neat and tidy quick little drive-away tent. Then you can also pitch quite easy. And yes, I did say drive-away, so it is something which is actually freestanding, or can be freestanding, so you can just leave it. It has a door to the other side you can just close, and also the door to the front is something you can shut down and have it actually being freestanding, and you can drive away to a journey and leave the tent on the pitching area. Also, just to mention that in the front we do have also mosquito nets, and of course again the rain safe window covers. And this can actually, with the purchase of 2 extra poles, be used as some extra sunshade canopy you can actually mount out in front of the little active tent here. So this is just something new on the drive-away tent area, and just to show you that actually quick and easy, you can do something to drive away from your tent, and we will just quickly show you how that is actually possible, because it doesn't take really that long to dismount this tent. So to begin with, we make sure that the tent is a bit more loose, so not as firm as it would normally be. So we actually loosen the guy line a bit on both sides. And of course, the guy line here would also be tightened in a normal conditions, but we've just made a little preparation for you to actually have this one here.
Yeah.
Also, the side attachment to the car, you need to loosen the peg and actually do that in both sides. And now the tent is actually more or less loose. So just some tips and tricks for you to actually have on the campsite, because driving away from it is very easy. It's actually hitting the right spot again when you return to the campsite. So using one of the luminous pegs, using that, pointed it to the center of the wheel and just to the side, and since that is in plastic, no fear to actually run over it with your tires. And of course also that is on the rear end of the car. Yeah, in this case we've actually mounted it onto the same side as the tent. In real life we would actually mount that on the driver's side of the car, because it would be easy just to drive to and actually look through your mirrors to see where you have the pegging points. So using that as your indicator, where are you in that on the campsite when you return? So nice and easy here. And Jakob, perhaps you could go through to the rear end.
Yeah.
Actually, now it's quite easy. So what we do is we actually take out this plastic rail, and this is a plastic rail that is in 8 shapes. So you see that it has these rails that actually goes in here. So Jakob, have you taken out?
No, I have to get this,
the first one?
The metal.
Yeah, and just a little tip here. Use this plastic piece to actually push. So, Jakob?
Exactly.
I'm pushing.
Yeah, no problem. I'm taking.
So, just pushing the next one here out so that Jakob can actually get a hold of it.
Almost.
Yeah. Oh.
That was the wrong one.
Yeah, if you just take the plastic.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Oops.
There you go.
There it is.
So, in this case, we have 3 of these pieces of 8s, and 3 pieces of 8, and also we have this little beading which is actually inside the rail. So Jakob, if you hold the plastic.
Yeah.
And as mentioned, this is the one which is sewn onto the tent, and this is the 7mm beading, goes into the rail.
Yeah.
So on the both sides, it's actually the way that you have the attachment on the van and for the drive away facility. So if you want to drive away from your van on your van life, do purchase this extra bits and pieces with your dealer or retailer to do this van life very easy and neat and tidy, to go out, do camping, but at the same time be out, have a nice and fantastic holiday. So with this, I give you through to Sina.